Napoli are one of the most exciting and fun teams to watch in all of Europe right now. They've scored more goals than anyone in the Champions League. They've taken the joint most shots in the Champions League. They're top of Serie A. They scored the most goals in Serie A. They're really fun. And this is what they look like. A lovely 4-3-3, or perhaps a 4-2-3-1, if you decide to call it that. It changes throughout. In fact, a lot of tactics that Napoli employ change throughout games. This is one of the things that they do. Despite whoever they have on the pitch at the time, they sometimes attack, they sometimes drop back and defend, they sometimes control possession, sometimes they play in transition. They can do all of it, and they do it really well, and they have some absolute stars in the team, like this guy, Kvaratskhelia, who is one of the most exciting young players in the whole of the world, if not the universe. Yes, he does lots of dribbles, this guy. But let's look at how they actually play and what they do. So obviously a 4-3-3, you know what that looks like. The goalkeeper's really good, that's important. Two excellent centre-backs. The right back and left back can overlap. This guy's a regista, he's more of a 6. He sits back and helps build up from the back with the two centre-backs when they split. Then what you have is Zambo Anguissa. He used to play for Fulham. You might remember him from playing about 36 Premier League games one season. He was all right. Now he's amazing, and he's box to box. He carries the ball, he breaks into space whenever there's space left behind the team. He's also really good at helping with counter-pressing and just pressing generally when Napoli do that, but they change from game to game. Zielinski is a really talented player, thought of as a potential kind of Kevin De Bruyne type in Italy. Polish international, really clever player, does a lot of things from the 10 position, but will also drop into a double pivot if he needs to. So say Napoli defending this side of the pitch, Lubok is obviously the 6, he'll be here, he'll drop back to help support, and then what you'll have is Anguissa will move slightly further forward, so you maintain always this sort of triangle, which helps with transition. So although the wingers will come back and help defend, they're always ready to exploit space in behind, and they do a couple of clever things to create it for themselves as well. Now up top they have options. Osimhen, really quick, explosive player. When he does get into space and there is space for him to exploit, he's amazing at using it. Really quick, drives his team on. He's always telling his team to help him support the press. Gets in behind, scored the winner against Roma in a brilliant, it's a really good game actually. But he gets in behind the defence, absolutely bodies Chris Smalling, and then hits a shot so hard it almost breaks the net. In this bit here, he's a really talented player. So they've got good players, but the real important ones, I would say, are their wingers and how they use them, because Napoli like to get their wingers 1v1 versus fullbacks, and this is both in build-up, where they'll stay really wide to try and create space in the defensive line, but also because if they're here, they're then able to run 1v1 versus a fullback, and then you get your striker in the middle, and you're joined by players like Zielinski here, maybe Anguissa here, and that's roughly your front 5 that they get when they attack. But what Napoli do, as I say, is they change from game to game. So they're not always attacking, they're not always defending, they change. And I would say they're more a team who operates in moments and then exploits that moment. So say they notice there's a bit of space building on one time, they'll be nice and calm and slow, and then they'll notice there's a chance to attack, and they go, and then they're really intense and they break into space. So say for instance, they put more of a defensive shape. You're playing against a mystery red team who are pressing in some sort of 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 shape, doesn't really matter. Let's say it's a 4-3-3 actually. Put these guys here. Now naturally what you do as a team is drop your wide players back to help support the midfield, so you're not going to be overrun. So when the fullbacks overlap, you know, you've got support to support these players here. That's what you want to do. And Kvaratskhelia and Lozano or Politano, they'll come back and help with these defensive phases of play. What they also do is keep these guys wide on purpose, because if a right back, say, moves into this position to try and get on the ball and create, someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, for example, naturally, moving from that position is going to leave a whole world of space in behind. And when this guy is able to run at people, he gets away from them or he beats them with dribbling. He's absolutely phenomenal. Really fun player to watch. Same thing on the left side. This guy will maybe do the exact same thing, move into space. Same thing in the middle of the pitch. If this guy vacates and goes here, Anguissa might not drop straight away. He might then position himself so he's able to break. So he's got the opportunity to break into space. So Osimhen can get into space, so he can get into space. And then once they get the opportunity, they go. But it's not all about playing just in transition. They're good at that as well as keeping the ball. In Serie A, for example, they have about 58% average possession, which shows you that they like to keep the ball and control games. But in Champions League, it's more about 49-50%. So they're very flexible and they change from game to game. Like the fullbacks can play on the outside or the inside. They're really tactically flexible and very clever. It's very fun to watch. And I can show you what it looks like through the medium of pictures. Now, here they are, building against a mystery red team, Liverpool. That was the mystery red team. You've solved the puzzle. But you can see the build-up shape here. 2 centre-backs, so it's possession phase. Full-backs very wide. This is the right back here, Di Lorenzo, and the other left-backs up here. You see, and there's the number 6 or 68, I think his number is. Lobotka, the 6 here, trying to offer a pass out from the back, and Geese is dropping in to make sure they've got options. The goalie goes wide left to the full-back. They made the pitch nice and big, so they can try and spread it out. The ball comes over, Napoli win the first ball. It's moved on a little bit up the left wing, and Geese pushes over here, so Napoli are more on the left side. And this is Kvaratskhelia. Now, as we just talked about, the way they might drop in to utilise space in behind the fullback, this is how they do it. Kvaratskhelia drops in, plays the ball backwards and spins in behind Alexander-Arnold, the right back, because he knows there's going to be space in behind, and that's what happens. He goes in behind. I think Zielinski drives with it, jumps forward. Osimhen tries to break through the offside trap. He gets beaten by the offside trap, so he's out of the game. But Kvaratskhelia is not beaten. He's very much there. And this is the kind of thing Napoli do. Suddenly there's a moment and they exploit it and they explode to try and get most use out of it. The ball comes in to Kvaratskhelia. He's going to get in behind here, and this is really dangerous for any team. He's one of the outstanding young players, or just players in the world right now. Takes on everyone, dribbles like a master. If you go towards him, you 1v1 with him, you don't know what he's going to do. You have no idea whether he's going to try and dribble past you on the outside or the inside. He does little flicks, he does just things you think you'd be able to stop him with, but he goes past you anyway. He operates in this weird time zone that other people don't belong in. Anyway, he gets away. He gets into the box, 1v1, and because Joe Gomez is sure he might go this way, or maybe he won't, not sure, he doesn't know what to do, doesn't get close to him, the ball's passed out to this player here, and he then shoots, which gets a penalty for Napoli. That's within 3-4 minutes of the game happening. It's explosive, out from the back. And then here's them at 2-0 up. They've already scored 2 goals. This leads to, I think, a third. See the back four, nice and narrow, with wingers really wide, really wide. I'll show you on the pitch how that looks, what they're actually doing here. So this is sort of what it looks like. A narrow back four, and number 6 helping with build-up, and Geese has dropped in to help out as well, and Zielinski here. And they sort of all do different things. Lobotka sits deep to anchor the defence and play short, tidy passes, and Geese is very much box-to-box, and Zielinski can play as more of the 10. So you've got your defensive, or safe, box-to-box and attacking. It's a good mix, good blend in midfield. But what they've done with the narrow four is keep the wide players very wide. And because Liverpool in this example, well, they'll press in more of a 4-3-3 like this. So naturally they're quite narrow here. And so therefore the fullbacks have to stay quite narrow. You want to maintain this shape that they have. Because if you start going out here to do this, or going out here to do this, you create this massive amount of space. Obviously this is bad. This is bad, just so you know. Because that leaves loads of space for someone like Zielinski to get through in between. So if suddenly the ball was here, they could instantly run in behind this big amount of space and get in behind. It's a bad thing to do, as we've noticed from the word bad that I've written on the board. Now that's what they're trying to do here. Because they're very wide, it creates a confusion for the defenders, not sure what to do, and it means that they are able to get the ball out to one of these wingers and isolate them 1v1. So narrow shape here, these guys are up here, it's a bit of a risk, but these guys can't commit. And it's a real tactical problem that Liverpool had to solve. Now, what happens in the actual game? Well, let me show you. Players are here, wide players in loads of space either side of the fullbacks, because obviously there's going to be space there. The ball is played out to this lad out here. He then plays it inside to Anguissa. Lovely trick to get away from the Liverpool forward trying to press. And then suddenly Napoli are in a position that they can attack. And that's again, they know they can attack, so they do. At full force, on the go. The ball, he travels up here, finds Kvaratskhelia on the other wing here. That's the danger. That's the danger when they go forward and they get in behind and end up scoring the third goal with a cross into the box that Giovanni Simeone, son of Diego, scores at the back post. He's very happy about it. Good goal. So that's them just using their tactics to be able to exploit an opposition at home. Here's another game where they score lots of goals against Torino. There's 2-0 up against Torino in Serie A. Another example of how they exploit space in behind with simple movement and then go, they just full send it. So this guy here, he plays the ball down the wing to Kvaratskhelia. Here he is over here. Now, the team they're playing against Torino are playing a 3-5-2, so it's slightly different kind of shaping. If we go back one step, this is the right wing back. He's pushed right the way up, which naturally means the right wing back spot is empty. This is a problem when the right centre back, this guy, also pushes up. Kvaratskhelia has noticed that this is the thing. He now has both wide right players empty. That whole space is empty in that side of the pitch. And naturally, when this ball is turned over, and I think Zielinski gets in to steal the ball here. Yes, he does. So as you can see here, this is the midfield. These are the two right-sided defenders. He then runs into this space, gets in behind, and then you're in trouble because this guy is quick, he can dribble, gets in behind, and gets into the box to score with a goal at the back post. It's a really, really good goal. But this is what Napoli do. They attack quickly, they attack with purpose, they keep possession when they need to, they slow things down when they need to, and then they speed it up again. It's all about playing with a tempo. And they've done all this, Napoli, by overseeing a big transition in players. So last season, this lineup might look very different. You might have had Zielinski on the bench, with Dries Mertens to the middle, like this. In fact, we'll put him more like this. Koulibaly was here, not Rahmani. In fact, he might have played, Kim might not be there, so we'll play Koulibaly here, but he's based on the left. Like this. Then what you might have had was, well, Arkadiusz Milik was there a couple of seasons ago. Lorenzo Insigne, really important player. He would be here on the left. And then maybe Ospina might be there as well. But these are huge, huge players. So Dries Mertens, Insigne, and Koulibaly, so important for Napoli over several years. And they've all gone. So they got old, they've gone. The new players they brought in has brought the average age of the team down from being the oldest in the division, or fourth oldest, I think, to being very much in the middle. So they had an average age of about 28 point something, I think, and they're down to about 25, which puts them in the middle, which suits playing a game where you're playing with lots of energy and acceleration that you're relying upon. Also, they've replaced them by selling players at big money. Like Koulibaly went to Chelsea for a lot of money. Insigne and Mertens didn't leave for quite so much. And what you've done is bring in lots of players on a real budget. So Koulibaly's gone, in comes Kim, who signed for about £13 million in Fenerbahce. Absolute bargain, one of the standout players in Serie A this season, certainly. Signed a left back, Oliveira. They signed Tanguy Ndombele. He's not been amazing, to be honest, but he's on loan with an option to buy, and he gives them good cover in this midfield when he can't play. He played against, Geese is injured just now, so he's been playing here on the side here with Zielinski on the left. Then they've got an option of either playing Osimhen up front. He's always injured. He's not great in the box at poaching, but he is good at getting in behind the high line and exploiting those. With Raspadori, who's more of an all-rounder and better at link-up. So you've got options there. You can play Raspadori or Osimhen, or you can play Simeone if you're short of options there as well. And then the star of the show, Kvaratskhelia, £9 million signing from a small, rather unknown club. He's a Georgian international, will be worth tens and tens of millions, if not already worth a lot more. He's amazing. And then Politano can swap with Lozano. And all these changes they can make to their team don't really affect the quality. They've got a good squad. They all play in the way that the manager has demanded them to, and they're managing games superbly. They won against Roma, a 1-0 win, patient for the whole game. Then they just, as soon as Roma started to open up a little bit, they punished them. In behind went, where is he going? Osimhen, somewhere here. He gets in behind, scores that brilliant goal. He fires into the post like this. So Napoli are one of the most fun teams to watch in Europe because they're doing all these things very, very well. But the underlying numbers suggest that they are absolutely where they should be. The XG is close to their actual goals. XGA is close to their actual goals conceded. They're really good. I like watching them. And anyone who gets them in the Champions League next is going to have a bad time. So good luck to you, Champions League opponents of Napoli. May your ships sail through the seas with good hope. And if you like boats and good hope, you should subscribe to Tifo IRL. Subscribe, give us your subscription, please, and we'll have loads more videos. It's the World Cup soon. Oh, baby. See you later.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence, and Rafa Honigstein. There are journalists dedicated to each Premier League team, so every fan gets the coverage they deserve, not just the big clubs. And you can try it for free now for 30 days. See the link in the description.